How do I know what my coin is worth? How do I know what to pay for a coin? Or how do I know how much to expect to get for my graded coin, or any coin for that matter? Well, there's a lot of misinformation out there, as we know. There's a lot of misinformation regarding what you can buy them for, what they're worth, what they sell for, how much dealers make on them. And a lot of people make a lot of mistakes when it comes to valuations and how to determine how much a coin is worth, whether they're buying it or selling it. I've had some clients, customers who thought their coins were worth a whole lot more than they actually were. And then people get upset with the dealer, thinking the dealer is trying to screw them over somehow. Or I've had friends who looked at a coin and didn't realize that the coin, or didn't believe the coin was worth as much as it was. So in today's video, what I want us to do is I want us to walk through some different avenues of determining coin value. And how do we do that? And what is the best way to do that? So I have for you today two coins that I've pulled from my stock. Actually, these are from my own personal collection. This 1921 AU55 high relief peace dollar. I love these coins. This is a decent example. I like this one. It's got some character to it, but it's still a very nice coin. It does have a little toning to it. It's got some age to it. It is AU, so it's not mint state, but I just really like this coin. But what's this coin worth? What would somebody have to pay for a coin like that? Or if you found one of these in your grandma's attic, what could you get from a dealer for this coin? Secondly, we've got the coin of coins, if you will, the 1909 SVDB Lincoln Wheat Reverse. This is a VG10 brown. So it's not a great coin as far as the collectors are concerned, as far as its quality, its state of preservation. It's a well-worn VG10 brown, but it's still the key date of the Lincoln Cent series. If you had one of these handed down to you in a inheritance or something like that, or someone was to give you one of these, or you were to find one of these, or you wanted to buy one of these, what is it worth? How do we determine that? The first thing I want us to do, and we'll set these aside for a second, because I want us to consider the Bible, the red book, the mega red book. A lot of people will buy these books and look at these books for values. So let's just look at the Lincoln Cent first. The 1909 SVDB in VG10, if I open the red book and I go here to this page, it's got everything. Oh, wait a minute. It doesn't have it listed. It goes from VG8 to fine 12. The price guide here says $750 for a VG8 or $850 for the fine 12. But what about the VG10? Well, you might think, well, $800. So we're gonna say $800 for this coin. But then we go to the blue book, which is supposed to be the wholesale, if you will, and we see here again the 10 is not listed, but between $500 and $575. That's a big difference. You know, a $250 difference between the VG8 Blue Book and the 750. So what are you going to pay for it? Well, if we would just stick strictly with this, most dealers, if this was our price guide, most dealers are going to give you less than the VG8 wholesale. So you might look at this and say, well, this coin's worth $750. And then the coin dealer says, well, I'll give you $575 for it. But I thought it was worth $750. Well, he's got to make money on it, and nobody's going to pay him $750 for it. And so maybe he sells it for $600. So he makes $25. Maybe he sells it for, $700, $800, and he makes a little bit more money off of it. But he's not paying the mortgage on his building, and he's not covering his overhead if he has a brick and mortar store. And so this is going to be hard this way. Even with the peace dollar, the 21 peace dollar, if we go to it, we'll notice here that the peace dollar, same problem. And again, that's why I picked these two coins, because I know they weren't listed. The 55 and the 10 weren't listed here. But this is going to be a problem when you start looking at valuations. The 50 is listed at 375. The 60 is listed at 550. Well, you're going from an AU to a mint state. Makes a big difference. And so we go to the blue book and we see that the retail is $250 to $450. And so we're going to have a hard time determining the value of this coin just on using the red book and the blue book. And so next, what are we going to do? Well, our next step, if you will, would be, a lot of people will go to eBay. Now, the problem with eBay is you've got a couple different ways to search there. And what a lot of people do is they'll open up their search engine. They say they're looking for a 21 peace dollar. They put this in, they find an AU55, and they see that they're asking on average, the last 10 that I could find that are the most recent, the average ask price is $408, just over $408 for this coin. And so somebody looks at that and goes, well, this coin is worth over $400. And they go to their dealer and they want to sell this for $400, and the dealer says, well, I'll give you $240 for it. And you're going to think you're getting ripped off. Well, where did I pull that $240 number from? You're just trying to rip me off. You go to sold auctions, and the last 10 sold auctions averaged out to about $360. That's what they actually sold for. And so it's not going to be worth over $400. It's going to be worth maybe somewhere in the ballpark of $350, $360. That's the sale price. And again, the dealer is not going to give you retail for this coin because he has to make a living too. Same thing is true with the VDB. Now there's fewer of these out there. The last, I think I found 7 of these for sale. The average was $1,040. So you see that and you think, wow, my coin's worth over $1,000. The average sold prices of the last 3, there was only 3 that have been sold recently, was $878. So you think you got a $1,000 coin, but the retail on it's around $875 is what people are actually having to pay for this particular coin in this grade. And the dealer says, well, I'll give you $700 for it. Oh, but it's worth $1,000 or it's worth $875. Well, the dealer again is not going to pay you retail for it. And so eBay's fine if you want to look at retail sold auctions, what they're selling for right now and what you can figure that you may have to pay to buy that coin. That's one way to do that. Now, next, I'm going to throw some stuff up here on the screen. Let's talk about the 21 again. So this 21 is graded by PCGS. If we go to PCGS's page, what you'll notice here is the PCGS page has the AU55 listed at, the price guide is $460. $460. NGC prices this out at $400. You can see it there on your screen, $400. So they're saying the valuation on this is $460, $400 in that range. But if you look at the auction prices, we see that the auctions, the recent auctions, these have sold generally in the range of $230 to $310. That's quite a bit below the valuation of these coins. They're valued at $460. Now, the auctions have them listed for around 230 to 310. That's the retail expected price on these coins. The 1909 SVDB in VG10 brown, according to PCGS, this coin is worth $1,000. Well, that's what we decided when we looked at the eBay ask prices. Well, why is that? Well, people are pricing things at high valuations, at high retails. NGC values this in their holder at $980. But again, auctions show that these are selling somewhere between $630 and $850. So we see the discrepancies here, and we have an idea of what they're selling for, but what is somebody willing to pay for it? So let's look at one other avenue, and that is the gray sheet. The gray sheet is the price guide that dealers use. Now, it's an expensive subscription, but if you're going to be buying and selling coins, it is worth the time, it's worth the money to get a subscription, especially if it's a digital subscription. You can pull it up on your computer, you have the app, and you can pull it up right there on your phone, and it's very convenient. So let's look at these two coins again, and let's look at what the gray sheet has to say. Now, the 21 peace dollar, according to the gray sheet, the wholesale price on this is $240. Remember, I said a dealer might offer you $220 or so for this coin. A dealer's not going to even offer you probably wholesale on these coins because he's not going to sell it at retail. He's not going to be able to sell it at the high retail price of $310. Now remember, the blue book or the red book had this between $250 and $375. So, somewhere in that ballpark, that's pretty close. But it's only published once a year, and this is updated regularly, right? Month to month. I don't know how often they update the numbers, but quite frequently, Graysheet updates their numbers. So what we have here is expect this coin to be worth $300. And if you're going to buy it, you're probably going to be looking at around $275 is what you're going to expect to pay for a coin like this. If you have this coin and you're going to sell it, it's going to sell for $240 or less probably. That's what the coin's worth. That's what its valuation is. The NGC graded VG10 Brown 1909 SVDB. According to Graysheet, the wholesale on this is $720. The high retail on this is $935. And so while they value it at $935, you can expect to probably pay around $850 or so for this coin. And a dealer is probably going to give you around $700 for this coin. That's the way the business works. And that's how the valuations work. Now, ultimately, at the end of the day, a coin is worth what somebody is willing to pay for it. And I've seen some coins that people were willing to pay well above the high retail on it because it had some artificial toning to it, or it's just something that they needed for their collection. It was the last piece, or it was just something special to them. If they want to pay for that much for it, more power to them. That's they can pay what they want to pay, and a dealer can get what he can get. And I understand that. I don't always deal that way. I don't like dealing that way. I try to be fair with all of my customers. I try to buy at a good price and sell at a good, fair price as well. I hope this information has been helpful to you. I hope that you found this information to be useful and will be useful in the future. Get a subscription to Graysheet. Graysheet didn't ask me to say that. I fought getting a subscription to Graysheet for a long time. Figure I didn't need it. But the more I got into buying and selling coins, I realized I needed to have the gray sheet in order to properly value the coins that I was buying and selling. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Remember, like, share, subscribe, do all those things for us. We really appreciate all the support. You can watch some other videos right here, and we'll be back Friday or Saturday with another video.